I am Gregory, and this is Pensane. On the table, we have my Kaweco Sport collection. The entire collection. I have to say, I'm not a big fan. The nibs have been extremely disappointing for me. And from what I hear from others, you know, that's just something of this brand. The nibs are not the most consistent, but what they lack in consistency of the nibs, they make up for in the variety of colors. I'm a big fan of white pens. I think this is technically the Kaweco Skyline Sport, or Sport Skyline. I think Skyline Sport. And this, I believe, is the classic, and of course this is the iridescent pearl, which is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So we have these two pens, and knowing that there's just a mind-blowing selection of colors available, and most people don't just have two like me. Most people probably have, you know, several, because I can see how these can be addicting for the colors alone. But one thing I'm a little perplexed about is I never hear people talking about customizing their Kaweco Sports. To me, you know, you have these pens that they're all essentially the exact same pen. In fact, they are the exact same pen, except for the color. And these are nice colors. I like these. I enjoy a nice white pen. And, I mean, who doesn't love this? But at the same time, we notice that the parts are completely interchangeable. Now this to me looks kind of silly, honestly. This doesn't look as good as the original. This doesn't look as good as the original. But there's something else we can do. We can also change the sections. Now, just glancing at these, we have pens that essentially look the same. But let's say we're gonna go to write with this pen. Ooh, that's different. That looks interesting. That looks very interesting. Okay, that bodes well. Oh, now that was a surprise. This one looks good, but this, in my opinion, looks far better than the original. Which makes me wonder, like, why is Kaweco so focused on monochrome pens? They could be making all kinds of combinations. And I partly think that's because you can buy multiple colors. They want you to buy multiple colors. And do this yourself. I think they would actually encourage it. So I like the look of this one. That's kind of cool to have the different colored section there. And it's a nice little surprise. But this, I mean, you know, this is completely unassuming. And then you take it, and, oh, wow. Wow, that is a nice touch there. Yeah. So I'm surprised people don't talk about this. Or maybe they do and I just miss the conversation because, you know, I'm still relatively new at fountain pens. So maybe this is a conversation that went down many, many, many years ago. Or maybe I'm the only one that thinks that these pens are better if you mix and match. I don't know. What do you think? And which of these do you prefer? Drop a comment down below and let me know. This, to me, that's the clear winner. This looks okay, honestly. But this, that's like a little pop of like, whoa. A nice little surprise there. That's very cool. Now, I should probably mention in Kaweco's defense that I have been very, very pleasantly surprised by their stub nibs. So I recently changed what was the entirely white pen was my preferred of the two, simply because it had a double broad nib. The iridescent pearl had a broad nib. I was completely disappointed with the broad nib. It just seemed scratchy to me. The only downside to the double broad nib was there was a little more feedback than I would like, but more important than that is the feed does not keep up with the writing. So occasionally it tends to dry out a little bit and then it gets going again and dries out a little bit and gets going again. Other than that, I love the double broad nib. But then I figured, well, let me give their stub nibs a try because I'm still trying to find the perfect stub nibs. And I may have found it because the Kaweco stub nibs, well, so far I've tried the 1.1. So based on that, wow, I'm very pleasantly surprised. So if you have complaints about Kaweco nibs, have you tried the stubs? But that being said, let's get this back to how I actually have it, because I don't have it in either of these fashions. I'm currently using the white one, but let's see how I currently have this pen. Okay, and here it is. This is how I currently have this pen. The other one is not in use right now. So on the iridescent pearl, I have a 1.5 stub. So I haven't put that into use yet. This I put a 1.1 stub, and I'm loving it. And of course I added a black clip. And when I ordered the stub nibs, I didn't really think too much about the body color of the replacement nib unit. And I was like, oh darn, I ordered a different color. So, and this is actually serendipity because look at this. How does that look? This, to me, is a far better looking pen than an all white pen. This is like, wow, that's very, very cool. So again, you know, I just, when you get the replacement unit, you get this whole section here, the nib unit. And you can, you can screw out the nib and the feed from the nib unit and put it in whatever color you need. You know, put it in the one you're replacing, for example. But I was like, oh wait, this is black. My clip is black. I have a really beautiful pen now. Whereas all white was like, yeah, you know, it's nice. But a black section with a black clip on a white pen, that's like a match made in heaven. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts, and hopefully, you know, some of you other YouTubers will jump on this and show your customizations of Kaweco sports, because I mean, you know, they have tons of these cool colors, but if we mix and match, they can be even more cool, especially if you factor in the clips. So I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts on this. And again, this is probably a conversation that happened years before I entered the hobby, but there you go. Again, I haven't seen any videos about this personally, so I thought I would make one. And specifically, I do want to do a shout out to Hilden Wrights. I assume it's Hilden. It could be Eldon, but I apologize for not knowing the proper pronunciation. I had recently mentioned the possibility of doing this in a comment on one of her videos, and she suggested that I show it being done, so here it is. Anyway, there you go. Hopefully a short video after I edit it down, but thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.